Alright, Pet from Barry Pet Forge again. Today's going to be a slightly different video than what you're used to seeing with me forging. This is actually just a small excerpt from a live demonstration that I did at the beginning of the week, which was June 24th at Camp ELBA Adventure Camp for 2019 for a youth group that was put on by our local Baptist Association, and I got to demonstrate what it's like to do a little bit of blacksmithing. And so the last group of children that came through, I just did a little excerpt of me forging out a small leaf. And throughout the day for each group that came through, I showed them how I did a leaf, as well as a few of them I showed how I tie a knot in steel. And then we actually had the dinner last night, got to see the kids again and everything on. It was really a huge blessing for me to be able to be part of the event and to be able to share some of what I've learned and stuff and all with children, and hear how, you know, some of them took an interest in it and the questions and stuff that were asked by them in the interaction. So that was a huge blessing. But this is just a small excerpt from that and all, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'll actually have some other videos up and everything and all in the next couple of days. I've just got to do some more editing and get those uploaded. So you have a blessed one, and I'll see you later. Now all they're going to get is from here down, forge and stuff in the background of me hammering. So just for the video's sake, what I'm going to do is make a leaf for this demonstration.
Okay, cool.
So if there's any questions or anything at all, feel free to continue asking. Sometimes though I may have to stop when I'm doing a step out where I can hear you better, because this does make a good bit of noise, sounding almost like a little jet engine. Now, when making a leaf, the first thing you're going to do is taper, an abrupt, short taper. On the end. My first leaf keychain was actually me working to make something else, and when I messed it up, I actually turned it into a leaf keychain, and my wife has it on her first. She typically tries to grab my first, although I do have a couple of things that I forged that I made my first, and a couple of customers have some first that they requested. It's not so much as the overhead cost, unless you're buying a lot of fancy equipment. I made my forges and stuff like that. The anvil stand and things. The anvils are one of the more expensive things. I barter and trade for a lot of pieces of equipment. The metal's not that expensive. The big thing is actually knowing how to move the metal properly. The Crusader shield, the copper ones are 15 and the aluminum ones are 10. I'll have some, well, I'll have aluminum ones at Outdoor Expo. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to isolate this taper. Now, see where I've made what looks like a diamond out here on the end? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this back behind that pin out and draw it away from it. I'll start to isolate what will become this little piece here off of that. Or for the video's sake, this little piece here off of that. Yes.
So, you know that little box right there?
This one. Okay, cool.
I was going to say, if you think that thing back out, I was going to say, if you pick it up and see if you can you be able to speak though?
Well, you can actually get the forge hot enough to pretty much melt anything.
Yeah.
Including knives that I've actually melted the tips off of before. I've done that 4 times in 5 years. And it's from the old blacksmith's term, having too many irons in the fire.
That's cool. I didn't know where that came
Why is there white stuff on it?
That is actually some of the kale wool insulation out of the forge because I've got to reline my forge after the day. Nice thing about mild steels is you can actually work them at a cooler temperature than you can a high carbon steel. So I can get back into this cherry heat and still hammer on it without causing stress cracks in it. Yes. I've actually been putting hammer to steel for 5 years, but before that I did a lot of studying, reading books, learning techniques and stuff for over 20 years. Because I originally got interested in it when I was 17 years old, so 31 years ago. I made my first knife. I'll be 48 in a couple of months.
Hey, can you look this guy? You're the same age as my dad.
He's the same age as me.
47?
Yeah.
My dad is the same age.
Nope, not trying to start a fire. Fires are not toys. As pretty as they are, and as cool as it is to see things melt and burn, now what I'm going to do is cut the rough corners off and start to round it, which is why you'll see me roll it back and forth while choking up on the hammer, getting a flat stripe.
It doesn't bounce and spray on you like when you're hammering it. It doesn't come on you.
That's why you have this. Now, you see how round that is? Well, I've got, see those little stars and all on the back of my hand here and all that. No, see, you don't want to touch something like this. You hold it there, it'll start smoldering and catch on fire.
There's the extras. Can I come over there?
Yes, ma'am.
How is that not melting the tin?
Well, the nice thing about this is with propane forge, the heat is blowing out this way. So literally it's all right out here. And and it cools down rapidly enough to where it won't melt down. Now, if I was to turn it up to it, it probably would. Because, I mean, even out here, that's
pretty hot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good 30 degrees more or so than it is outside.
Yeah.
And the closer you get, the faster that temperature climbs. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn this little diamond up on end where the shock point's pointing up, and I'm going to flatten it out. And that'll start to give me the leaf shape. And I showed her, I said, that's the reason why I don't do that. That's why I actually, for all my knives, I order steel.
Yeah.
For my tools, like this punch and this hold fast,
So
these,
you made that out of
these were made out of coil spring.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'll repurpose stuff for things like that, but when it comes to a customer's knife, no. Something that I want to play around with design-wise or something, yes. My whole first year forging was basically spent forging out railroad spikes into knives, just so I could learn hammer techniques. What I'm going to do here, after I heat this up, is actually take the cross peen
and texture out, draw out the leaf a little wider. And that's the reason why you're going to use a cross peen, because what you're looking at with the cross peens are made to pull in one direction or push in one direction. Versus, say like this dome head on here, this big rounded head is called a rounding hammer, and it pushes metal out in all directions at once. Traditional hammer, you're basically just smushing, which only pushes it out on the sides. I'm not set up equipment-wise to be able to make folders. I could make friction folders and stuff and all, but for what I'd have to charge for them, it's just not cost-effective for me to make them and try to sell them. Well, not necessarily hard, it's just time-consuming and tedious. I can take and hammer out a knife blank in under 44 minutes. See where I'm drawing that out more?
And that was fast, really.
Well, that's the nice thing about working with mild steel, is you can work it at a colder temperature so you can actually get more time hammering on it. And it doesn't take quite as long to heat up.
So Stephen has helped you some rotors. What would that be used for?
The aluminum, melt it down
Just melt them down?
and cast them into other things.
Oh, okay.
That's like I can actually take cast iron, cut it up, melt it down, and cook some of the carbon and all out, and make puddle wrought iron. Because there's actually only one manufacturer of wrought iron left in the world, and they're in England. All other wrought iron is antique and historical, because aside from that one company, it's really not manufactured on mass scale anymore. Somebody had stuck a piece of wrought iron in my hardy hole here and got it fused in, and it's breaking my heart because I actually going to have to gouge it out, burning it out.
Yeah.
And that's about $20 worth of wrought iron bar that somebody stuck in there before I got this anvil and got it fused in.
Yeah.
I did cut a piece off the bottom of it though that I can actually use to make a bolster on a knife handle, which would be pretty cool because it gives a similar pattern as to Damascus. All right. Now, as you can see here, you've got a much more like or like a teardrop. Now,
That's the unfortunate thing. You got to keep picking it up.
yeah, believe it or not, I actually edited out all my heat times on forging on a small drop point one time. I had 17 minutes worth of video. That's all it took to actually forge.
I see. That's a good idea.
The vast majority of the time was actually heats, and back and forth in the heat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The nice thing about a propane forge is I can adjust the pressure where to hold it at a certain temperature, so I don't have to worry about burning steel up. So I mean, I could walk away from this and come back 10-15 minutes, and the steel will basically still be no hotter than 2,000 degrees.
Right.
With a coal forge, if you leave the blower going, you'll melt the steel. You will, or as we call it, burn it up.
Yeah.
Now for this, I'm going to do a little bit of
Details.
and that actually gives you, show the camera first. So now what I'll do is I'll heat up this piece back in here and thin it out, which is actually the piece back behind the leaf. Now in time, I'm not going to do it completely here, but after I go home, like with these others that I've done, I'll actually finish tapering these pieces out, draw them out to where I can loop them back around and do a little twist around the base right here and turn them into keychains.
That's cool.
And they'll actually be up the Outdoor Expo as well this year.
Okay.
That is if they let me in.
They will.
Last year I was supposed to have been there for live demonstration and my wife's back was out.
Yeah.
And that was a no-go. I wasn't leaving her alone.
Yeah. And the Outdoor Expo is going to be at the rodeo this year. Okay.
Yep, Stephen was telling me that. That'll be nice.
Yeah. I think it'll be easier to set it up a little better.
Yep.
I'm glad we do it in October, so it won't be so hot.
Well, and then right after that, I'll have Fredonia Heritage Day, and I'll be doing live demonstration out there.
How much do you charge for a knife?
I have some little small bird and trout knives, like a 2-inch blade and all. They're like $50. On the website, you'll see a Skinner, sweat point Skinner, and then a drop point little EC knife with 4-inch blades. They're $100 each. And then my fiery pit forge cleaver, and then what I call my bushcraft knife. They're $125 each. And they have some options on handle materials and finishes for those prices. Then I do custom knives that you get on up into $300, $400, $500, $600, depending on whether they want Damascus, multiple handle materials, exotic handle materials, etchings, tooled leather, sheaths, and stuff like that. But yeah, that was actually one of the things that apparently blew people's minds at the Blade Show this year. Is I had 4 $50 knives out there on the table, and it was my little bird and trout and a little mini cleaver, you know.
Do you have them
Not here, no. Everybody loves the Crusader shields. I couldn't hear.
How much more?
The aluminum shields are $10 each.
And the copper shields are 15.
Right, copper ones will be 15.
I'm gonna see if I can get the copper.
Got a nice heat on that one. See how fast that starts thinning that out? That is called drawing out.
We have about 10 more minutes. We have about 10 more minutes.
simple leaf.
So is it stretching the metal, or is it just?
Yes, it's drawing it out, stretching it out. This, before I started tapering that out, drawing that out, and I was actually probably about back
Yeah,
here.
that's what I'm saying.
Drawing it out. Now,
What's your favorite thing you've ever made?
favorite thing I've ever made?